Thank you so much for being part of this. For me, this is the introduction to the next step that we're going to take. A next step in that sense is then to realize the holiness of what we are doing. And we don't have to confirm, like we don't have to make ourselves holy, but we can come into the recognition of our holiness, and that is exactly the purpose of our coming together. It's like if I listen to this music, for instance, then it is like, well, is there a God? Oh my God, there's a God. uh, it's so great to be able to feel that and to hear that in your whole being, in yourself, as an experience with yourself. And so miracle healing introduction. Today's session that we have is a miracle healing introduction. And what does that entail? What does that actually mean? Because why would you need a miracle? Why would you need something like miracle healing? And what is so different about miracle healing or any other kind of healing? Is there a difference between the two of them? So these things we will hear, we will talk about that. We will not so much talk about it, but actually come to the realization of what is the necessity for miracles and why are we focusing on them in this healing series. So that's what we're going to do. So we use this little booklet, and I made a PDF out of it. It is just a little Miracle Healers Handbook. This is a very used one, and I don't know if they're still for sale or not. But the PDFs, I sent them to you. You can freely download them on the website. And so first of all, I'm going to take off my little socks. I'm starting to get hot already. And how's that for you? Are you getting hot a bit too by all this new energy that is flowing, by all the resurrection that you're experiencing today? Because this is our happy Easter day. And what is Easter more than the start of the resurrection? Actually, the confirmation of the resurrection of you. And so now we are going to take 40 days for this resurrection to become a vivid experience of ourselves. And so is that a possibility in 40 days? Are you kidding? No, you really can do that. Absolutely. So the miracle healing intensive that we're doing is an absolute, say, instrument for that. And that is, there's something about this dedicating yourself to this path, to say waking up out of your dream, and also to come in touch with a new place inside yourself where suddenly things are possible instead of not possible. So, and that's where actually we come into the idea of the miracle already, because why would you need a miracle if you have a miracle mind? And when you're completely open to receive all the information or all the tools and all the, say, ingredients that you need on a moment by moment basis about your source, because you are connected. So what happened that we need miracles? So today we're looking at the why do you need miracles, and what actually happened that you need those, and what is so, what are the characteristics of them? What is the say, what are the principles behind them? So that is really interesting to take a look at. So I want to start with the reading of a little bit of scripture. It is from Matthew 28, and I already got it here. So for me, it's easy, and I will put it also on the website, of course. Let me see. This has to do with the idea of power. And why do I read this? I will get back to that about it in a minute. So this is on the day that Jesus appeared to his disciples, and he has a date with them. He cannot meet them just right in the city because it will be like too much for the ones around him. So he has a specific date with his 11 disciples at this point. Judas has gone. He is not really part of the discipleship in this. So here's Matthew 28, starting at 16. But the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Joshua had appointed them. So yes, I used the Aramaic Bible. I always love to read that. I don't know why. I think because it feels so authentic. So the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain where Joshua had appointed them. And when they saw him, they worshipped him, but some of them doubted. And Joshua spoke with them, and he said to them, all authority has been given to me in heaven and in earth. In the manner in which my Father has sent me, I am sending you. Therefore, go disciple all the nations and baptize them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Spirit of holiness, and instruct them to keep everything, whatever I have commanded you, and behold, I am with you every day, even unto the end of time. Amen. So Jesus is sending out his disciples here. He's giving them a blessing. And the blessing is then to remember everything that he has shared with them. And the essence of it. He literally gives them the essence of it, which is also coming into the realization that you have all power, realizing that actually you are the one carrying that with you, and you have used it in many ways, and you have used it in ways that were not really helpful to you, but you still use that power. So why is that then so important to read this little piece? I'll get back to that. So another point is then, if you are aware that you are creating, that you are using your mind literally to create everything around you, that you see yourself as the source of all your perception, then what we learn in the miracle healing then is basically to see that there's the perception, but the undoing of the perception and not reacting to it anymore is actually where the space is being created literally for something else to happen, something beyond your human restrictions, beyond your human definitions and limitations. So that's good to realize. So now here this comes in. So you actually have used the power of your mind to come into a vivid day by day experience of thinking that you can be separate from everything that is. This is how you use the power of your mind. And you did a really good job. You did such a good job that you actually forgot that you were doing it. And that you're desperately looking for a way out of your own restrictions and are looking for that for years and years and years. This is how you've been using the power of your mind to be completely, say, stuck in your maze, in your labyrinth that you created in your mind, thinking that there's no way out of it, thinking that there's absolutely no way to escape from it. See, now it becomes pretty much obvious why you need such thing as a miracle. Why something is invented like a miracle to get you out of this, to see, to learn you, to teach you, to see where perception actually leads to, or what it entails, what it actually is. And of course, you don't hear this for the first time. We discuss this. We talk about this. We're training ourselves not to step right into it anymore. So that's the great thing of coming together in these healing classes, to actually see that you know that you can get out of it, that there's a way out of it. It can be an infinite way of possibilities, an infinite way of doing that. Or it can be a miraculous way to do that, to come into the, say, the instantaneousness of another option than yours, another decision than yours. So in here, so this is really an introduction, and I go pretty fast through all of this at this point. I recognize that, so I'll come back to certain aspects later, of course, because this comes to you by repetition. You will need to hear this over and over again. I'm aware of that. I need that too. I need to repeat this over and over again in order to come to the full, that I'm fully taken by it. So it doesn't matter if you, after this class, say like, well, okay, that was a great class. I knew exactly what it was. And now 2 minutes later or half an hour later, I already lost it. I don't know anymore how to think about any of this. And that's like, yeah, that happens. That is perfectly all right. So don't take it personal and think that you do something wrong or that you're like a hopeless student. No, you're not. So it is really like the self-evaluation is not so important. So you lose interest in even doing that too. So, and then your process doesn't need observation of yourself, really. You occupy still a lot of, you use a lot of time to do so. But in the end, it is a matter of letting go of your concerns, letting go of this and that, in order to create space for the light to enter into your mind. Because you are literally, say, plastering your walls of defense and at the same time asking for light to come in and really thinking that you want that. So this kind of this kind of conflict inside yourself is what can be dissolved. And then what we're, as a purpose for this, say, 40 days or this intensive that we do, is like, that is what we're going to really take a look at. That's what we're going to train ourselves with, by repeating it, by doing, reading certain aspects, by looking behind all of this in order to discover something that you already know. So, and that can be very exciting because you forgot. So you forget stuff, but when you remember it, it is so good to remember it. And that's where it, that's where the beauty comes in. Suddenly, when there is like an, almost like an, a short, literally, suddenly you feel the connection again. Suddenly you feel that communication coming through you. Suddenly you feel the grace coming down on you. For just an instant, you feel that there is a connection. So this is all totally helpful. And so, yeah, it's really interesting. Some lines are coming to me with the idea of miracle principles. It's like I've been reading those for a very long time, and they're always different. So it is also, you have to laugh about the way you read things yourself to see that, oh my God, I should not take myself serious in that sense. I really should not take myself serious, because actually what it says, what is in this scripture, so to speak, is so given to you, and you have so very little, say, to do with that. It is really happening to you. You have such great, mighty companions. You have such great support. So, and that is what you see in today's Miracle Healers Handbook too. So it's all brought together by the ones that were working or are working in this miracle healing. And so we have Jesus, like the Course in Miracles. I can tell you a little bit about that too. Like the Course in Miracles, coming from Jesus directly out of time, has nothing to do with any kind of earthly source. It is directly given from out of time. And then it's like, what is out of time? If I'm timeless too, it can be timeless in my experience. Yeah, then you are out of time too. So, but this information came to you in your limitation. So it is literally a possibility or a book to get you out of your own constriction. And then we have, of course, Joel Goldsmith too. It is, I started posting today another article from part of his article too today. Like that is so beautiful, the way he expresses the essence of the resurrection. He wrote so much about that. So maybe we'll use some of that too. I don't know. So, and then we have the scripture from the New Testament, very helpful to see the basics of what is actually given to the disciples, which is you, the disciples. How did they receive that? How are you receiving the information that is given to you? And so there's a lot of material, and we put that together in this moment by coming together and by recognizing it as our own. Because whatever book or whatever scripture it is coming from really does not matter. It really is like you will have to accept it for yourself anyway. You are the one actually receiving all of this. This has everything to do with you, with nobody else. So that's where it becomes very personal, and also where you feel the responsibility for it, because nobody can do this for you. Nobody can change your mind for you. So, and the changing of mind is an essential step in the miracle healing. Because if you could not change your mind, then everything would stay the same. If you think that your experience of your daily life would stay the same, that there's no way out of that, then with the power of your mind, you establish that for yourself. Now, on the other hand, if we use our mind in a creative, open way by receiving the possibility of the impossibility, what seems to be impossible for me is possible, in God, so to speak. Like in God, is everything is possible. It is all about possibilities. And you are that miracle. You are the one that is actually going to hear this and actually are rising up, actually are resurrecting. And that process is happening today. That is your opportunity. So the thing that you can do now, and watch your mind do it, like the thing that you can do now is say like, well, yeah, no, that's for later, because I'm just beginning, I'm just a beginner, or whatever your idea about yourself is. No, I'm doing this such a long time, I don't think it's going to happen anymore, or whatever it is. So this is all a bunch of defenses. So these are good to recognize, but we're not going to let them stop us from entering into a different experience of ourselves. So that's where this comes down to all the time. There's always another opportunity. There's always another possibility. It is never what you think it is. You just missed it. You just missed it, and you just missed it. And that's not that you did something wrong, and that has nothing to do with that. No, it has to do with the idea that you don't need to come up with limitations in order. You should not use your limited ideas to come into a certain perception. So what you can do is open your mind in a way that you're not listening, not following up on your thoughts, on your limited ideas, how great, ever great they seem to be. So to come to the other experience, to the other possibility, is where this is about, is what we're training ourselves to, and what we become aware of by actually seeing what we were doing. Like I said in the beginning, that we are using our mind so very, say, advanced, that we create a situation in which we can experience ourselves being separate from everything that is, which is quite amazing. So you did a really good job, but now you're going to return back to your father's house, which you have never left. But you, yeah, you lied to yourself in that sense. You literally showed yourself that was a possibility, that you really believed that as a reality. So the undoing, or the atonement is one of the words that's being used. Atonement, the undoing of what you think everything is and how you are, who you are, is the process that takes place. It is an at-one-ment process. Suddenly you are realizing that you're one with everything instead of separate. So that's connected to the word of at-one-ment. So the at-one-ment is basically possible by the undoing of your ideas about yourself. See, now the problem you have is that you taught yourself into this mess, so to speak. You taught yourself into it. So now to get yourself out of it is something that's totally impossible. Otherwise, you would have done it. So the fact that you're here, that you're listening to this, is a sure sign that you cannot get out of it yourself. You recognize that you need help with that you need literally a miracle to get you out of this mess all the time, all the time. Because at the moment that you think like, okay, now I have it, yes, I got it, now I know how to respond to this situation or that situation, again, you miss it, you miss it. So this is the training of getting into a complete open mindedness, and depending on that miracle, seeing it as your birthright to receive that. So that is the beauty of miracle healing. So I hope you still want to continue, because you have to take a look at stuff that's going on in you, where you actually are confirming all the time the limitations that you think are your reality. Okay, so there's time to breathe and relax too. So we receive this together. We receive this gift together. So that's already a very whole idea. It is not that I'm telling you a story. No, this is literally, we're all in this together. You know, it starts here. I remember it starts here. I'm aware that if I hold ideas about sickness, I will see sickness. If I want to come into healing sickness, I will have to let go of that idea of sickness. So this is at the end of the Miracle Healers book, handbook, where that comes in. Like sickness is a defense against the truth. So and so and so, there are more and more, say, parts of miracle healing, that aspects where we are looking at, and in order to see the miracle, you have to let go of your ideas about the world. So one of the lessons that we will do is, I lose the world from all I thought it was. I lose the world from all I thought it was. See, these are just very constructive, helpful parts in this process, where you can dive as deep in as you want. So only this sentence of, I lose the world from all I thought it was, is already enough to have an experience from out of this limited identity into the miracle of the remembrance of your, yeah, the totality of the love that you are. See, the thing that we basically recognize is that your source is love. Your true source is love. So everything that you think exists apart from that does not really exist. And also that what you think exists inside of you that is not congruent with the idea of love, of doesn't link up with it, has no reality, even though it can be haunting you for years and years and years. So the undoing then is the healing and the forgiving of that, to seeing that that had no reality. What I think about myself has no reality. I will have to forgive myself. Like you would not come into an experience of resurrection without forgiving. So that's another aspect where we are going to take a look at. So there's a lot you can see. We really need those, I think, 6 or 7 meetings that we have. We really need those to come into this and to see that that there's so many aspects in the undoing of our denial of a true identity that there's really some work to do. And work to do is in the sense of actively looking at the situations that you're in, how you're dealing with it, and at the same time, in fact, admitting to yourself, oh my God, I need help. Oh my God, I need help. I really cannot do this without the help that is being given. And I don't even know what to decide. I don't know how to do this. So to admit that is also very helpful in experiencing the idea, in experiencing miracles. So to use the little book that we have here, I will read some of the first page miracle principles, because they're really lovely, and they always feel very good when you read them. It's like, oh yeah, that's so great to remember, of course. And I think there are 48 of them, so I won't do them all today, but it's good to read and to sit with them and to let them come to you. So one of the first things that's being said is, you are a miracle healer. Remember these important miracle healing principles. So why are you a miracle healer? Well, you're your first patient, so to speak. You can start with healing yourself, but you cannot heal yourself, so you will have to connect with your source in order for that to happen. So that means the miracle healing, if you receive this for yourself, you extend it to everyone without exception. You extend it to everyone. That's the great thing about this. You think that Joel Goldsmith did something else. No, not at all. He was very much aware that he had to receive this for himself, in that anything could happen. He didn't use words. He didn't do this and that. No, that was not necessary. He only had to come to the recognition of his divinity, literally, to come into the communication that is natural. And of course, everything heals around you, what appears to be around you. You could not really be concerned with that at all, in that sense. So the miracle principles, there's no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. They're all the same. All expressions of love are maximum. So there's no order of difficulty in miracles. So does that really mean that that there's no difference between cancer and a cold, or COVID and a sneeze? Like, no, in fact not. No, it is all coming from the same source, recognized by you as being different and being ordered by you. It's like, this is, oh, that's so tough. Don't talk to me about the big C, or don't talk about this and that. That is so tough. And of course, I understand that that is for you, your experience, because you literally created that for yourself. And that is quite something. And you really believe that that is so. But now in this there's really an opportunity to take another look at that. So it is not more difficult to heal like a cold or a cancer. But the thing that you should not forget is that it has to do with your ideas about sickness. Like you can heal a cold or a cancer, but the next thing appears already because you didn't let go of the idea of sickness. So as long as you stay in touch with ideas of sickness and of lack and of disaster, they will repeating themselves over and over until you actually see that it is not about the form in which they appear, it is about the principle behind it. So there's no order of difficulty in miracles. It's like whether either you come into the recognition of your connectedness to every aspect of creation, or you miss it. Basically, that's it. And that sounds so simple that it's very difficult to just accept that. And I'm totally aware of that. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. Okay, so this love part in the first miracle healing principle, we didn't really express that. All expressions of love are maximal. So that's lovely to hear that too. All expressions of love are maximal. So before we go any further, I'm just loving to share with you that I love you totally. That is an expression of love because I just do that for no other reason than that I feel that. All expressions of love are maximal. That doesn't mean that you have to say that you love everyone. That can help. You can try, but see, you already know it has to do with your action of mind. Like, that's why you sit here. That's why you signed in. That's why you logged in into this room, in this online room, or watch this on YouTube or wherever you hear this. That's why you logged in. That was an act of love of your mind. It is love for yourself. You know where you have to go for that. You're literally being told where to go for that. You can trust that completely. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. Miracles occur naturally as expressions of love. Wow, the real miracle is the love that inspires them. In this sense, everything that comes from love is a miracle. See, this is another one, so beautiful to just give them a moment to take a look at them. You know, since you are created out of love, since your source is what love is, that you are literally an expression of love yourself, you must be that miracle too. So the real miracle is the love that inspires you. You know, it's like you are being inspired to love by your own source, which is love too. Like, oh my God, everything that comes from love is a miracle. So if you extend this, if you live this, if you breathe this, if you have this as action for yourself, what do you think that you're doing? You're actually extending the love that you are. All miracles mean life, and God is the giver of life. His voice will direct you very specifically. You will be told all you need to know. See, that's a complete message. All miracles mean life, and God is the giver of life. His voice will direct you very specifically. And with no exception, you will be told all you need to know. You can totally rely on that. There's no exception to it, not in any situation. See, and then you already feel again like, oh my God, this is so total that I take this with me wherever I go. This goes with me. It is literally the air that I breathe. It is literally the light that is with me all the time. It reminds me that this is going on without exception. There is no exception to the love of God. And this needs repeating over and over and over. Strange enough, isn't it? Strange enough. It's amazing. We forget it. We're looking for it and we forget it at the same time. I don't know what to do with it. No, but you will be told very specifically. I don't know how to deal with this. I know, but you're going to be told exactly what you need to do over and over and over. This is you as a miracle healer to yourself. You are the miracle healer. If you allow this principle to work in you, my God, you'll see what happens. It is really the challenge of this 40-day time. If you want a serious challenge, like an inspiring, loving challenge, this would be the one. In all situations that you don't know what to do, remember just this. His voice will direct you very specifically. You will be told all you need to know. All you need to know. All you need to know. Prayer is the medium of miracles. Prayer is communion, like we know that from Joel. Like prayer is communion, is communing with God, with everything that is, coming into the direct experience of the communication. It is a means of communication of the created with the Creator. Through prayer, love is received. And through miracles, love is expressed. See, the miracle really is an action tool. It is really listen, learn, and do. So you listen to this. You learn it by applying it. You do it. You just extend it by doing it, by literally using it. And it's all about the expression of the love that you are. It is nothing weird or anything like, oh my God, spirit, really? No, this is nothing to do with that. This is purely extension of love. If that isn't it, then nothing happens. Then it's just magic, or then it's just whatever it is, but nothing real. Through prayer, love is received. And through miracles, love is expressed. So if you feel that you need to receive love for yourself, that you have to, that you feel a bit like, I'm really in need of love right now. This would then be the instruction to receive that for yourself by communing, by being in prayer, by opening yourself up for the communion. Like it cannot be done in any other way, but it is your decision that you need that for yourself. And seeing that it is available to you all the time. A miracle is a service. It is the maximal service you can render to another. It is a way of loving your neighbor as yourself. You recognize your own and your neighbor's worth simultaneously. See, this is the miraculous part of our miraculous gathering today, this morning. This is what the miracle is. We come together to recognize our own and our neighbor's worth simultaneously, recognizing the holiness where we are coming from, what we are. To just sit still for a moment and let that occur, realize that in our minds by just relaxing enough to getting our ideas out of the way and create a space where that suddenly is being filled in, literally. Like you turn down your mind, your thinking mind, with great ideas and great alternatives and great defenses. No, now you're just quiet and still and receptive. And suddenly you feel so good to listen to this or to hear this, that you are actually giving to it. That increases your experience and mine and everyone that is here and beyond, even without any limitation. It becomes an action of mind, an extension from the source. Like literally, this is what we do, what we give to one another. It is loving your neighbor as yourself. See, what do you need to do for that? It is not a doing necessarily. It is not that you have to wash the dishes for your neighbor or anything like that. You can do that sometimes too. That would be great. Or if you want to pick up my garbage, great. That's fine too. But see, the action is in extension, in the action of mind. And by taking time for yourself to let that happen to you, to come into this communication and just letting that do something for you. Miracles are thoughts. Thoughts can represent the lower or bodily level of experience or the higher or spiritual level of experience. One makes the physical and the other creates the spiritual. So now you experience immediately the effect of what you are thinking. So that's another great principle. Like you actually directly get the result of what you are thinking. If you extend a spiritual thought, then you feel what that does with you. But if you, say, after your meditation, suddenly think like, oh my God, I need to put on a different shirt or something like that, whatever thing that you need to do, you immediately get the experience of that too. So, and you become more and more sensitive to the difference between the two. So that can also entail that when you are meditating, suddenly you come out of a really beautiful silence and you step into the kitchen and suddenly you have a conflict with someone. That is a real possibility, because it is like you suddenly come in touch with your limited identity again, as if you zap into another world. And if you don't say, if you're not aware of that occurrence, then it can really think that something went wrong, or that you missed out on something, or that you think like, well, that was a great experience I just had, but now this world, what am I supposed to do with this? So in the practice of our spiritual path, you learn to deal with that. It becomes easier. So in case you have troubles with that, just stay with us. Stay right here. Okay, so now we're getting into resurrection time here. Miracles transcend the body. They are sudden shifts into invisibility, away from the bodily level. That's why they heal. Okay, so that's a lot of information. Miracles transcend the body. They actually have nothing to do with it. So, okay, so coming from a whole idea of love, of an all-encompassing love, what has the body to do with that, really? Because the body appears to be like an idea in a separate state of consciousness, thinking that there's a body here, and there's a body in South Africa, and there's a body in New Zealand, and a body in California. If I would see you guys like that, then I would be scattered all around. So the miracle is then really to see that that has no reality. So And we come to that. I know that. So I stop. I will not repeat that again. Like miracles transcend the body. It has nothing to do with space and time. It has nothing to do with limited ideas that you hold about yourself. So the body is a limited idea that you hold about yourself. That's why they transcend that. And that's also why they heal. Because you're not only thinking certain things about your body, but you're also holding on and confirming ideas about your body. And that's really where the trouble comes in, so to speak. That's why you make a whole pattern of thinking connected to your body and to the state of your body and to the pain in your body and to the color of your body and the shape of your body and you name it. You can make a song out of that. And there are many songs about it too. It's like, I remember one of the songs with all the bones, the jawbone connected to the, I don't know which one it is. It's a really lovely song. If I can find it, I will play it. But so the miracle transcends all of this because in a total idea of the love that you are, the body dissolves literally. So being out of time, being not connected to this place that you think that you live in, being completely free from this dream that you're well created with your idea of I have all power, so now I want it this way, is then what the miracle is to see that and to choose the other option, not having your limited ideas, say the lower level of ideas confirmed, but the spiritual thought confirmed inside yourself as a direct experience for yourself. So there are sudden shifts into invisibility away from the bodily level. The sudden shift into invisibility, that sounds really great. It sounds like zhoof and I'm gone. It's like suddenly something happens and I'm teleported into a different reality. Well, that sounds really good, doesn't it? But see, the invisibility is also the connection that you have in your limited idea about yourself. Sorry, I have to mention it again. Like a limited idea that you hold about yourself regarding your senses. You have 5 senses that you use to defend yourself against your totality. So that is a shift into invisibility. Suddenly you don't need your eyes in order to have a great experience. Well, that is not really new to you since you have been meditating and since you close your eyes when you sit still, or maybe not, but you probably are familiar with the idea that you can sink deep into your silence when you close your eyes. Well, that is a shift into invisibility too. So you're actually familiar with the idea of miracles. It is a sudden shift into invisibility. Suddenly, it doesn't really matter anymore if your eyes are open or not. You're just sinking deeper into yourself and experiencing something else. So that option you have already in your mind as a possibility. I shifted into timelessness for just a moment because I see, oh my God, it's already 5 to the hour. It's amazing how fast this goes. So I use this one. This is only the first page. Can you imagine? Miracles reawaken the awareness that the spirit, not the body, is the altar of truth. This is the recognition that leads to the healing power of the miracle. Miracles reawaken the awareness that the spirit, not the body, is the altar of truth. This is the recognition that leads to healing power of the miracle. That's lovely. Miracles reawaken the awareness that the spirit, not the body is the altar of truth. Wow, that's quite a shift, isn't it? Because you were raised with the idea that the body is the altar of truth. And in your limited ideas about yourself, it appears to be very, very acceptable idea that your body would be the altar of truth. Like you have to look at all the religions are based on it. Like we have to keep our bodies clean. We have to do this and that. We have to eat certain flesh cut in a certain way or slaughtered in a certain way. And we have to do this and that in order to keep our bodies clean, because the body is the temple. And now we read here, no, not the body. So the miracle reawakens the remembrance that spirit and not the body is the altar of truth. Where do I receive? Say, where's my altar? My altar is not my body. My altar is in my being, in my mind, in myself. This is where I put my lilies of forgiveness. This is where I commune. This is where I come into action, extending love. So I don't even need my body for that. That would be too slow and too, say, solid. So this has nothing to do with any of that. And that is quite a step. I can imagine that if you hear this for the first time, that it's quite a step to accept this just like that. But really, let it come to you. This is the recognition that leads to the healing power of the miracle. So what is the good thing about the miracle then? It doesn't take time. It is a sudden shift. It is happening right now. This is a miracle. That we're communicating together is a miracle. That we come together, that we are moved to come together is a miracle. That we listen to one voice is a miracle. That we're actually receiving instruction is a total miracle. That you can feel the love that we are extending to one another is a total miracle. That you are here is a total miracle. So that is absolutely fantastic. I'm so happy that you're here and that you're part of this. And so this was our hour. This was our hour of miracle healing, the introduction to miracle healing. So I love to see you soon, and I will play one more little song at the end. And thank you so much for being part of this.